Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Esports Wales Weekly. This is week 2, the talk show where we talk about all things esports, gaming, just general news from in Esports Wales, and general news about esports. So, first up, our first guest this week is Chantico. Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
My name is Chantico, and I am the League of Legends manager. I, after communication and that between the teams, trying to organise scrims, practice nights, and getting everything running fairly smoothly.
So, John, you were on last week. Do you want to give yourself a quick introduction?
Yeah, so most people know me. So I'm Slayer John, or just John. I'm the I guess the CEO or sort of founder of Esports Wales. And yeah, I do a bit of everything.
So, yeah, last but not least is Norris Boy. Go ahead.
Not least, yeah. I'm Norris Boy or Jordan. I'm currently the editor for Esports Wales, so just looking after everything on the website in terms of the news and the articles, and yeah, just writing some myself when I can.
Yeah, so that's who we have on this week. We do take questions, so if you do have anything that you want to ask any of us on the guest panel this week, or ask the entire guest panel, do throw them in chat. I will be collecting them as we go along. Yeah, so first off, we're going to be talking about some general game news, and I'm going to throw it over to John to talk about the first subject that we actually have on our agenda this week.
Yes, it's about the. I don't know if you guys, sort of, any of you played Alien Isolation. I picked it up, I played it for a bit, but it was alright. I ended up I'm not a massive single player games thing, but it was quite a good game. So yeah, it was developers are looking creating a sort of a next gen sort of hero based shooter, something like Overwatch or Rainbow Six Siege. And yeah, sort of the reason why this has come out, or this rumor's come out, in the last couple of days, and they've posted a job advert for a lead hero designer with some sort of things in there. So I don't know how far this is along. It could be rumors, it could be well in the works, but you don't really know with these things. But yeah, potentially it might be good. It's I like the stuff for the alien stuff in Alien Isolation, but whether it's going to be something totally different style, it's difficult to say. I don't know what you guys think. Do we need another sort of hero-based game, or?
Yes, all the hero-based shooters, all of them.
Oh,
No. Apex has done quite well. Rainbow Six is ticking along. I think Overwatch has had its sort of ups and downs recently. Where they we spoke about Overwatch 2 last week. Whether that's going to be a case of we'll see sort of a bit of a resurgent come back to Overwatch. Again, people playing again, but we'll have to see and see how it goes. It's difficult at the moment because you're just looking at the job spec. We're trying to sort of work out what type of game it's going to be from one job and at what stage. So
yeah, well, I've never really been into hero-based shooters too much. I play Overwatch. I played Apex a little bit, but it's a little. I don't know. Having to learn all the different characters and heroes is a bit different. Is a bit hard for me because I don't know. There's just too many different things, and you've got to learn who counters who and who to pull out when, and it's just too much information for my brain to relate and think about all at the same time. So that's one of the reasons I don't play, for instance, Dota or League of Legends, because those games have so many different heroes and so many different build paths, and I'm just like, yeah, no thanks. I'll just stick to CS:GO and Rocket League and simple little games like that.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's like you've always had like TF2, I think was a big one, and then you had Overwatch come out, and you've had a few others like the sort of. I think it brings up something more like an extra dynamic to FPS games, and as much as I like Counter Strike, it's kind of you play having people with trying to it's changing the skill set you need. Like with Counter Strike, if you have five guys with like an M4 or something, it's kind of you're playing on the same level. Where in like Overwatch and things like that, it's playing different characters and different abilities and different styles of play, which allows a bit more flexibility coming into it. But yeah, it's just it's going to be interesting to sort of see where they take it, or sort of if we will get any news from them. But yeah, at the moment, just a few rumors, I think.
Yeah, so next subject, I'm going to throw it over to Norris Boy to talk about. It's quite an interesting one, actually. I'm looking forward to some of the thoughts the guys have on this one.
Yay, Call of Duty's back. So
No surprise there, is there? Let's
if
be honest.
people weren't aware of this somehow, there's also been a Call of Duty title release. What's the good word I'm looking for? Oh my god, I can't even speak now. What am I trying to say?
Revelation.
Yes, it's been revealed. That's what I was going for. And basically, they're going to do a sort of multiplayer gameplay reveal trailer on their Twitch on August 1st at 6 p.m. British time. So hopefully we can get an insight into how they're going to try and evolve it, because it's quite obviously Black Ops 4. I know it's not Infinity War. Black Ops 4 had the whole health regen, like doing it yourself, as opposed to just it being a passive thing. So it'd be interesting to see if they take maybe a bit of a, not so much a hero shooter thing, but like maybe something with Rainbow Six, sort of having a different setup, different characters, or if it's going to be a generic. Because obviously they had the specialist, but it wasn't too much influenced on the gameplay wise. That was more just like their little show off thing. So it'd be interesting to see if they do bring anything like any like new ideas to sort of give it a bit of life, because especially now being either because we think it's a reboot or it's not a reboot, but Price is back, but it's the same title but it's not the same title, so it's all a bit up in the air at the minute.
I think myself anyway. Like I'll probably be picking it up. I enjoyed the Call of Duty games. And yeah, I've kind of like the last few years, I've kind of backed away from it just because of the cost and people haven't been picking it up. But I think with this one, it's sort of there's quite a lot of hype coming out of it. And yeah, I don't know whether it's going to be a case of I don't think it's going to be much wrong with it. It's just going to be as the price point is quite high, and it depends on how many people pick it up. I think if you get enough people picking it up, then I can see people like it being a proper game. But if you don't get that sort of initial launch right, I think it'll just sort of fade away. Especially if there's something else or anything sort of around the same time. If that comes out and just knocks knocks that one out of the park, then yeah, it's going to be struggling to get that off the ground. But Call of Duty is a massive name, so yeah, I think it's going to be.
I think the way that Infinity Ward are going about it, they're certainly doing a lot of good things to allow the fan base to actually want to come back to the series. For instance, crossplay is a big thing, and that's actually coming to the Modern Warfare reboot, from what I've read. So that's going to allow people on PC, Xbox, or Xbox, or the new consoles when they eventually come out, to actually play against each other. That could mean some different things. It could be controller players will be at a disadvantage compared to the people who play keyboard and mouse, so on and so forth. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. Also, they're actually ditching the season pass, so any map packs that they release are going to be free. And that, for Call of Duty, is a huge thing, because in the past, everyone knows that all map packs have been paid. So
yeah, I'm not a fan of the sort of having crossplay with FPS games. Like in Rocket League, it works quite well. I just don't think it works with sort of thing. I know COD has tried to be sort of a bit more of a controller-based game.
yes.
And that's sort of where they've sort of sold it as. So whether they're going to try and push it more down that route somehow, but at the end of the day, it's going to be an FPS, and as you said, the keyboard and mouse are going to have the advantage over controller players. So I don't know. And with the battle pass, I think people are they seem a lot more sort of likely now to go into the battle pass and get them, like with the with the Apex ones, with the sort of Rocket League. People are just more, I don't know, more likely to just go, yeah, we'll pay for that battle pass and see if we can get more sort of items or things like that, as long as it doesn't sort of cause any sort of massive upset with the game.
I was going to say, I think it's been quite accustomed that every game's expected to have a battle pass or a season pass or something like that, so everyone's prepared to do that. So I think by them ditching it, it might actually get like a lot more people. Those ones who go, oh no, I can't. But I've never been too bothered by getting a season pass or anything. So
Yeah, well, you
Yeah, I
never
don't
you,
like-
you never used to see them, did you? It's only a thing of recent times, so to say.
yeah,
Back in like Xbox 360 days, like it's only towards the end of the Xbox 360's life that you've seen game developers actually releasing season passes and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think Infinity Ward are doing a good job at it, and yeah. So I think has anybody else got anything to say on that before we move on?
Well, they've supposedly said as well that they're going to change all like the progression system. So obviously on that article we were looking at, they reckon it's going to be a case of when you're doing your levels and everything, it's going to be fluid from the single player to the multiplayer to whatever other probably modes that they're going to have, because they're bound to have another one. So it'd be quite interesting to see how that's going to work in terms of like prestiging online. Is it going to be like you just have a general level of prestige and a general level that is just the base, or is it going to be like you have certain, I don't know, perks for doing certain, like if you complete the single player or anything like that? It'd be interesting to see what direction they take it in, but obviously we're not really going to know anything until August
Yeah.
1st.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
like when you look at like Overwatch and some of the other stuff, it's kind of like Rocket League and things that you get sort of experience. I think with Rocket League as well, like regardless of the mode you play. And I think it'll just be like that. It'll be sort of rather than it is just an experience sort of rank which will grind up with what anything you play. I don't know how it work with single player. Maybe you get like achievements through the game which would give you points.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be alright. It's an interesting one and one I'll probably pick up.
Definitely. I think that's a good point to close at. I think we all agree that it's going to be a very interesting game, and we're all looking forward to it to see the way it will go. So to move on, Chantico, would you like to talk about the next subject we have down?
yeah. So I'm talking about Lord of the Rings is bringing out a MMO completely separate to the one that was Lord of the Rings Online, which was, I think that was back in 2007. It was brought out.
That's a long
But
time
this has
ago.
been, yeah, a long time. But this has been developed by Amazon, and it's been done by also the people who do WoW, Destiny, and PlanetSide, EverQuest, Defiance, and Rift. So there's a lot of experienced MMO developers, and they're all just checking in to see how this goes. Apparently, it's going to be going back to the original, like the idea first was going to be it was going to be before Lord of the Rings, the whole time era before, but now it's actually been moved to include the whole timeline. So I mean, I've played MMOs. I've played World of Warcraft for the last 14 years till Battle of Azeroth,
Yeah.
like that completely killed it. So I mean, I played Lord of the Rings Online as well. So I mean, I'll probably definitely pick this one up.
Yeah, I played Lord of the Rings online like back when it was released. So when was it? 2007? Yeah.
Something
2007,
like that, yeah.
Yeah, I picked it up then, and I'm like not really a massive MMO thing, but I played it, and yeah, I hated it. I hated the menu system on it. Yeah, I don't know. I know some people who loved it. Like I tried WoW and played that for a bit, but I never really got into WoW. But I found WoW so much better than Lord of the Rings in comparison. The menu system was such. It was just, yeah, it was just so bad. But we haven't really had any like massive, um, things like MMO, and it looks like they're designing this to run next to the sort of hype of the Amazon TV series. So a case of running the two together. Whether this game is going to be rushed then to meet those.
I was going to say, is there a release date for the series, or has it not been
Yeah, next year.
announced? Next year.
Yeah, I think it's next year we get The Witcher, which is going to be interesting on Netflix.
Yeah.
And we get the start of Lord of the Rings then on Amazon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I loved the films on Lord of the Rings. I enjoyed the Hobbit films as well. I've read some of the books. I haven't read all of them, but there's some of the games which I've enjoyed, the single player games. But I'm just thinking, my only concern with this is that they'll want to get it out at the same time as the series, TV series, and kind of have those links. And what they'll end up happening is they'll rush this game. And with MMOs, if you rush a MMO, it'll just die because you you need that development, and the size of these games are so big. Like the lore and everything's written for you with Lord of the Rings, but the size of those games are so big. You need to have the sort of the design sort of time to go into it.
Yeah. I mean, it's been quite a while since I played MMO. So I mean, it's like I said, it's been based off the books and stuff like that. Now I enjoyed the books. I didn't particularly like The Hobbit and those ones, just because for me it wasn't the original lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see. I mean, I feel like it could work, and like you said with the menu in the old Lord of the Rings, so hopefully they've improved on that as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've never really been a big fan of MMOs. I did try ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, for a short period of time, but I was playing alone and didn't really have any friends to play it with, so it was a bit of a miss for me. So I quickly stopped playing it and moved on to New Horizons and different games. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I was a fan of the Lord of the Rings trilogy back in the day. I remember watching all of the extended editions and.
It depends on the price point as well. Like if it's going to be something like the same sort of system as like Guild War 2 or something like that.
Yep.
I can see like a lot of people picking up maybe like a battle pass system or some sort of like way of sort of charging. If it's going for the model of like WoW, I think it might struggle. But you don't know. Like it's depending on sort of what quality game comes out really, what quality game they can sell. But I don't think we'll see it yet. I think if we it's going to be a couple of years down the line, and then they're going to try and sort of market it with the success of the Amazon TV series. I think that's the way it'll be pushed.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's all we have on general game news. We will be looking at hopefully a few more different games to talk about next week. If you do have any suggestions, make sure you do throw them in chat and I will throw them into a document to look at a further date. So yeah, moving on to a bit of news from within Esports Wales. This week we held our Overwatch trial night and we actually gained 2 teams out of that. Mainly made up of players that we've actually had playing for us previously, but we have got a few new faces playing for us, and I'm sure they're looking forward to representing the Esports Wales name. And so playing for Team Tan, we have Bron, Elmo, Makia, Nobody, Owen JD, Tass, the Jenksky, and also Slayer John, along with 2 subs in the form of Cooper and Math Fuse.
Yeah, so maybe I should just explain because there might be we've got 6 of things. So what we're going to do is with that we've got a lot of players, and we'll I'll explain a bit more later on, but we'll end up changing it around so you might have more subs and things. So, but yeah, that's why you've got 2. I think those were struggling to make the time and stuff, but then we'll sort of mix and match, and then we'll see how we'll get on. But yeah, hopefully I'll be adding you to the channel this evening. And you'll have access there.
Yep. And then playing for Team Yar, we also have, this is our, to my knowledge, our higher ranked SR team. So the most likely the one going to be playing in the bigger tournaments and whatnot. So we have Fuquan, Kabi, Ked, Natoyo. I had this name last week. For God's sake, OG Boy. I don't know how to pronounce that for the life of me. Shades plays, and also Wafflesworth. So yeah, those are the teams that we actually had coming out of the What's going on there on the Discord? The cameras are all broken. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! I broke something. Oh no!
Falling.
I can fix that.
Everyone sit up slightly.
Wait. Let me go back to one of the other cameras. I'll fix that in a second. So talking about that quickly, I'm glad to actually finally see some some more Overwatch teams come out of out of the. In fact, can somebody else just take this, John, if you want to talk about what actually happened on the trials night whilst I fix the big
no worries.
error on my end?
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, with the trials night, we had players come on. It was just reviewing, like previously, what we'd done is we just worked off what was told, sort of, what was your SR, and you registered to put in. From the trials night, we wanted to have sort of people playing together and then trying people in different positions, moving people around and seeing how they play together and how they communicate in the game as well. So it was myself then, sort of, I played and streamed it during the evening. And then Curio was sort of spectating and watching some of that either on the stream or jumped into some of the games and sort of watched how people played. It was a custom mode, so we had some more stats on um, how people played, what damage they did, sort of what healing they did, and sort of along those lines. So what the issue we kind of had last season was we kind of had a lot of players, but they were all chucked into one team, and then it was um, sort of a bit of mix and match with sort of who could turn up. And yeah, we ended up having sort of sort of we couldn't enter the higher tier ones because some of us were sort of the sort of lower SR was pulling that down, and then the lower SR couldn't enter the lower one because the higher SR people were pulling it up. So yeah, what we've done is we've split that across. We had a look at sort of how people communicate and things, and we'll be moving forward then with that. And I think Curio is going to sort of look at managing Team Ya, and then I'll be helping out with Tan moving forward, and then sorting out the sort of scrimmage nights, getting into a couple of tournaments, and seeing how we go from there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to sort of see how we do and see how the sort of teams work together now with their sort of closer brackets. And it's going to be it's going to be easier to find scrims and find other things on the same level. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, okay. So now that I've fixed the cameras after my little mistake, after being barraged by Flight and chat to mute Discord, I've done that, and that's what actually threw off the cameras. So I'm going to blame Flight for that. Thank you very much, Flight. Yeah, we do still have our lovely merch on sale. As you can see on screen now, it will be slide showing through. So if you do want to order some merch, the link will be in chat now, hopefully, which there it is. Praise, I beat you to it, so don't try it. Don't test the man. I'm quicker. Got quick fingers, okay? So yeah, you want to get some merch, go ahead and click that link. That will have all of our lovely merch, some t-shirts, some hoodies, customizable jerseys, customizable hoodies, an Esports Wales flag, which I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, there's just all sorts on there. So if you want to go spend money on us and represent us through your hometowns, throughout Wales or whatnot, so go ahead and buy it. Go ahead and spend money and just support us as an organisation. But on top of that, we do also have a giveaway for a lovely Esports Wales jersey. And the link to that is in chat now. And should be that one, I think. Yep. You can see right now that we already have 990 entries to the giveaway right now. Obviously, it's one of the giveaways where you can do a number of different tasks to gain extra entries, so that doesn't actually quantify how many people have actually entered the giveaway, so to say. So, yeah, if you do want to get in on potentially winning a Esports Wales jersey, go ahead and click that link in chat, and you could be in with winning one. So, yeah. Moving on forward, another thing that we will be partaking in towards the end of this month is a charity event for Special Effect, and I'm just going to show a quick video to give you all an idea of what Special Effect do. So you won't be able to hear us, we will be quiet, and you can just sit back and enjoy the lovely things that Special Effect do for people. Right, we can't be. So yeah, that is what special effect do. I don't know why it was still playing in my ears. That transition's a bit dodgy, but either way, that video always manages to bring a smile to my face. But yeah, we will be participating in a special effect charity event. Yeah, it's called Chicken for Charity. It's the second one that they're doing. So what it is, it's a PUBG tournament. Not sure if we've got the full confirmed team, but right now it's currently myself, Alex, and also Welsh Boone. Not sure if we had a fourth. I don't think we've got a fourth confirmed yet. So if you are interested in donating to the charity, then go ahead, click that link in chat, and even if it's just £5, ourselves and Special Effect will be more than grateful to help towards the cause, for the help towards the cause and whatnot. So, yeah, John, if you'd like to just talk about some of the things regarding staff and whatnot.
Okay, so from EsportsWales side, we've brought on 2 marketing guys. So we brought on, we had a couple of people apply, and then sort of speaking to these 2 guys, where they were just like, yeah, let's bring on the 2. So we got Apro and Bega. The 2 of those will be helping sort of move EsportsWales forward and sort of designing our marketing strategy, and sort of seeing if we can sort of push some sort of things, one for you guys, and then one from the other sort of side of things to like businesses and the other people we're kind of working with. So we've brought these 2 guys. They'll have sort of different projects and things like that they work on, and yeah, we'll sort of move it forward through that through there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. We've also had Navaran, I think I pronounced it.
Navarian.
Navarian,
Or just
sorry.
Nav for short. Nav for short. It's
Yeah,
easiest.
Nav. Yeah, which he's helping out doing some articles on the website. So you're going to see some more posts from him. I think he posted something about the sort of the random aspects of gaming. He's posted some of that last week, and he's got some more stuff coming out. So that's quite cool. But yeah, it's sort of just moving forward. We've got a number of positions open, which I will be posting in the job role soon. Yeah, so yeah, before I move on to that, it's kind of I'll be posting those over the next week or 2, and yeah, just keep an eye out if you are interested in sort of helping out Esports Wales, and the role doesn't kind of fit what you kind of want. Just message me or another one of sort of the management team, and we can have a chat and see sort of what you could kind of offer Esports Wales and how we can sort of fit. Because at the end of the day, we're just trying to sort of push it forward and sort of see how we get on. So if you are interested in like writing, if you are interested in streaming, I know Jake's looking for more streamers. We're looking for more writers. And yeah, we will keep on trying to push it forward. And yeah, just if you are interested, let us know. In regards to that, I know Mulgrew has stepped down this week in the social media side, but just to say, like, thank you for the work which he's done. He's definitely given us a lot of advice, sort of as we've been sort of pushing forward. And yeah, what he's helped us sort of move things forward, try and sort of position in a sort of a situation where sort of esports wheels can keep growing. He's got a lot of new and sort of exciting projects on, so we can't blame him for sort of doing that this time. We're going to keep him on as an advisor, and then see if he can sort of keep sort of guiding the esports wheels in the right direction. And yeah, see where we go from here. So I think that's all I've got on the sort of staff roles at the moment. But yeah, we'll hopefully have some more popping up on. You'll have the job roles popping up in Discord. It might be on Facebook as well. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah, we do also have a Esports Wales meetup planned. Am I not correct in that, John? The 2nd of August.
Yeah. So this probably puts me onto the question, but question that Millennium SSB I think had. So that was one of the questions which he said hey guys, been active on Discord server for quite a bit. Was wondering if you've got any updates or plans on Smash Pro tournaments, or even possibly signing some players. Big fan of what you do. Keep it up, guys. So, in regards to that, I can check if you haven't put it in Discord already, or in stream.
Oh no,
So
no.
what we're looking at doing is on the 2nd,
Oh.
we're looking at having a meetup for Esports Wales in Arcade Vaults in Cardiff. Part of that is a fight-in or Friday fight night. So there'll be some sort of games. I think it's like Tekken, might be Smash Bros, Mortal Kombat, and those type of stuff there. So we're going to be sort of starting from there. There's also another event happening in Cardiff, which we tweeted not so long ago with the Smash Bros stuff, and we're trying to sort of build that up. We haven't focused on the Smash Bros scene sort of massively yet. The reason being is like Smash Bros is normally sort of 1v1, or sort of not 1v1, but sort of you're playing just a single player, and we focus more on the sort of team-based structure, and a lot of it is sort of you've got to go to the event to be able to play. But we are looking at doing more sort of fighting games and promoting for more fighting games, and this is just the first step there. And yeah, if any of you want to come down on that Friday, yeah, come down if you're interested. Stick interested in going on the Facebook page for Arcade Vaults. We'll be down there. I'll be down there. I think Jake, you might be able to
Yeah,
come
I'm
down as well.
hoping to be there.
I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So it'd be good just to meet up. Is there a set time? I think it's 5 till 9.
Yeah, that's what it says on the
Good,
event.
good 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I've been to Arcade Vaults quite a bit. I know Chris does a good job running that. There's a lot of sort of other stuff going on there, which is quite cool. It's a good way to show off another sort of place in Cardiff, which you can use for sort of gaming stuff. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how people play in the Smash Bros stuff. Hopefully, we can get quite a good crowd there and quite a lot of people playing. And yeah, from that, then we can meet up, have a chat to people, and going forward, if there is any sort of players which would like to play for Esports Wales, we would probably sort of see if we can get them down, see if we can get them at top or something, and they can enter some events then, and see how we go.
Yeah, so I don't know whether either Chantico or Norris have any more bits of news coming from Esports Wales that you want to talk about at all.
Just in terms of if for people who might be interested in maybe the writing side, as our teams get more established, there's going to be a lot more.
Oh, we've just lost Norris, I think.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, we've just lost Norris in the middle of a comment, in the middle of a sentence there. That's just great. That's a lovely, lovely face.
That's a brilliant picture as well.
Oh, he's back. Oh, are you back?
There? You appear to be offline. What is going on?
Your internet died, mate.
I don't understand what is happening. It is never this bad. I promise.
That was great. That was so perfect. Perfect face.
I think my PC's nervous. So
Someone clip that.
Yeah. Do you want to try again there, Norris?
Yeah. So if you are interested in writing, even if it's just looking at a specific esport that we might be interested, like just competing in, just drop anyone a line in the management team or myself, and then we can see what we've got.
Yeah. Okay then. Anything from you, Chantico, or regarding the LOL scene?
I've got in the works. I'm looking at like what John did with Overwatch, holding a trials night. So I'm looking at maybe in a couple of weeks, looking at getting a particular day to try and accommodate everyone. Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
That's for League of Legends, just in
case. That's a League of Legends. Sorry. So we'll be looking at that. Hopefully, we're going to be looking at. We've got a team set up already at the moment, but we're going to be looking at getting a higher tier team to try and enter with some fairly decent tournaments and see what we can do. Pull ourselves out and see if we can get some wins.
Okay, awesome. So keep people updated on that within the Discord. I've just had a Steam message, so I'm going to quickly close Steam because I wasn't expecting to get messaged on Steam. Yeah, so that is it for news about Esports Wales. Moving on to just some general esports news now. I have a quick video that I want to show the viewers in regards to our next conversation as a nice little bit of a segue. So, just a minute long, a nice, interesting video for you all to just watch. Yeah, so that was Gears of War 5. They've actually announced that they're actually going to be having an esports program. It's very interesting because I played a lot. Well, I played a little bit of it when I was playing back on Xbox 360 years and years ago, and I don't really see how it's going to be an esport, and I don't understand how it's going to work. I don't know how much any of you have played it, but I don't know how it's going to work personally.
I played like I don't know back when you had sort of Gears 1, Gears 2 on the Xbox. I played a fair bit of that, but you have I think it's just a case of similar to I think esports is kind of the buzzword these days. So you would have a competitive play like you could then you play team based and stuff like that, and I think it's just a case of going well that's an esport now, and sort of from there we'll sort of add this extra structure which will come into it, maybe some league tables, maybe some teams playing against each other and some competitive side, and yeah, you got that buzzword of esport, and they'll sell that, and that's the way to push it. Potentially you might have the like investment and the sort of support behind it, but yeah, whether it'll just be sort of team-based deathmatch on various maps where you just sort of I can't see being anything other than that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like I know they've been doing some Gears sort of esports stuff in the past, but like I don't think it's sort of a massive scene at the moment. And yeah, sort of trying to push it as this. I think it's just a case of that's competitive play now, and they sort of link in the esports stuff with it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's probably just my naivety because when I played it, but years ago, I think I can't remember whether I actually played much multiplayer of it. I mainly just played the horde mode and just enjoyed killing monsters or whatever the hell they were. It's been so long since I've...
The chainsaw.
Oh yeah, the
that
chainsaw.
was the best part
Yeah. Oh, I'll admit that was always a fun time to be had whilst playing Gears of War 3 back in the day. I don't know whether either Chantico or Norris have any input on that.
All I know about it. Oh, go on.
No, go on.
Either one of you.
All I know about it is
I've
a
lost
land
the
of
Discord.
like chest-high walls. So I would wonder if it'd be sort of like maybe like an arena-based thing where you might have two teams dropped into an arena, just sort of like your standard FPS, and see if they're going to do it that route, or if it's going to be maybe a route along the lines of trying to rack up more points in your opposition, or various other scoring systems like that. Because it's not really a game that you think, yes, that's an esports game. Yes, let's run with it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I mean, I played probably about 20 minutes of Gears of War 1, and I didn't like the setup. I didn't like the way the movement. Didn't like absolutely anything at all. I mean, I've looked into this a little bit, and it's from what I can see, it's going to be one of the modes which I absolutely love is King of the Hill. So I've seen that they're going to be doing this. So any game really that's got a King of the Hill mode, I instantly like. So I mean, I might pull it back and give it a go, see what happens. But for me,
no, not your thing.
Fair enough.
That's fair enough. Yeah, it was probably just my naivety. I didn't even know Gears had an esports scene in the past.
no,
just flown straight over my head. So yeah, moving on. Some I don't know. The news coming out of Blizzard a couple of hours, maybe even a day ago. They've actually released something that they're hoping to do in regards to cheating in Overwatch right now. When their anti-cheat system actually detects that somebody is cheating within a game, rather than letting that game play out until the game is finished, they're going to be actually ending the game early, and therefore the players that accept the cheater obviously won't get affected. They won't lose any SR. They won't gain any. So that's going to be a huge thing for cheating, and I'd love to see other major competitive game developers take the same approach, but it's gonna. I don't. The thing I'm confused about is how it's going to be implemented and how they're going to do it.
Yeah, I think this might be a very sort of
It's going to be on the line thing, isn't it? It's going to be.
Well, it's going to be if they detect it, and
Yes.
whether like some of the stuff is based on reports, some of the stuff in like CS:GO is based on like replays which you can watch and things like that. So they might detect it, but is that going to be a case like it's I don't know the numbers, so it's going to be hard to say whether it's going to be a case of a lot of this is going to be detected. But if this is going to be detected already, I'd have thought that all of these accounts would be being banned and things like that. Even if it was at the end of the games. So I think some of the stuff which might be happening might not be like detected as part of that and the game end. But we'll have to just see. See how it goes. And
Yeah, I certainly think it's a step in the right direction. I'd love to see
oh yeah,
maybe some other, like I said, other competitive game developers take the same approach, because I've been playing CS:GO competitive games, and I've come across an aim botter and a spin botter, and I've just been like, well, I've just got to sit here and wait for this game to end now, and it's demoralizing, and you're like, why do I even bother if I'm just going to come up against these cheaters all the time and be forced to play out against them? I don't know whether Chantico, I don't know how much cheating there is in League of Legends, if there is any.
I mean, there's a system in place that obviously when you've got like a cheat engine or anything, it automatically will just close the game. I don't know how they used to be really large, like kind of an overlay mod that could go over the top, and it was quite hard to detect. But they found a way of doing it, and found a way of it linking in with the way that it coded it, like in the background. So that got knocked out pretty quickly. But I mean, it's as far as cheating in the game goes, there isn't really that much.
Okay.
yeah. Well, they used to. I don't know what it is like now. But they used to have some of the stuff with League anyway was like auto sort of dodge and things like that. And sort of you'd have the mechanic installed, and you'd have some sort of like apps and stuff which would automatically like last hit for you and that sort of stuff. Like I'm like totally against any cheating, boosting, and anything like that. Especially if you class it as an esports game, there should be like as soon as that happens, the count should be banned, done. Like, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be. I don't know if it's good that they're trying to tackle it. And as I said, the less cheaters we have, the better. But I think it's always going to be sort of people will always try and get that advantage. Some people and try and get ahead and try and get that sort of to, use the sort of the tools out there to get ahead. But yeah.
Yeah. So moving on. Last week I touched briefly on the fact that ESL One Cologne was taking place during the time that our talk show was live, and was talking about a British player that was actually captaining in-game leading. That's probably the better way. In-game leading one of the teams that was in the final. His name was Alex. Sadly, Alex and Team Vitality got outmatched in those maps by Team Liquid, who currently at this moment in time are undoubtedly the best team to be ever seen in Counter-Strike. It's what they have done is they've won the Intel Grand Slam, which is winning 4 Intel-sponsored events. They've won that in 67 days. The last people who won it Astralis last year, they took I think they took 6 months to do it. So for Team Liquid to do it in 67 days, which is actually the shortest amount of time it can be done in 4 events, they've played 4 events that are sponsored by Intel, and they've won them.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely crazy because a few years ago, there used to be this joke within Counter-Strike called whenever somebody would like miss an easy shot, you just tell them that they'd have NA aim, North American aim. But the way that Team Liquid have been playing and how they've been going about what they've done and how much of an unstoppable force they've become, it's actually turned the NA aim joke into a compliment. And it's lovely to see because I mean, they've been working hard behind the scenes. They've outdone everyone they've come up against, and it's insane to see. So I don't think there's much other major esports news right now. There is currently a CS:GO event happening in America, only a small one, nothing too big. It's just a qualifier for one of the majors. Don't know if any of you have any info of any major esports events going on right now, or in the near future.
Not right this second.
No,
yeah,
not at the
didn't
moment.
think so.
No.
So yeah, that closes up the main talk show part of the talk show, and we're just going to move on to answering a few of the questions. If anybody does have any more right now, make sure to get them. The international qualifiers are under the way. Oh, that's okay then. That's a big Dota event that Banzer loves. FIFA news. We don't really cover much FIFA right now. We want to my knowledge, but we don't really have any footing in it. We don't have any players or teams, so to say, in FIFA. John, have you got anything on that?
I think he's talking about the global series. So you've got like the playoffs and stuff
Okay.
happening now. But in regards to FIFA stuff, I'm speaking to someone. So
Okay, that's good. Okay.
you might, if you're interested in playing for like with FIFA, there's so many sort of different like different ways of playing it. So you've got like pro clubs and stuff like that. What we're probably going to do is hold out a bit longer and wait for 2020 to come out. But if you are interested, drop me a message because there's someone who I'm talking to about sorting some things out.
Okay, so moving on to the second question that we received in chat, because John actually answered Millennium SSB's question earlier on. This is actually from Enquire, one of our partners. They actually ask this for the whole panel: do you think that VR multiplayer esports will catch on? And a couple of us has discussed this in the past. Myself, John, and also Alex, who was on last week, had a conversation about it in the past. So it's an interesting thing. I'd love to see it catch on because VR is this amazing new thing that has almost limitless possibilities. So, yeah, John, I don't know what you think about it after our last discussion.
Yeah, from the same, it's like kind of what I say. It's got a long way to go to become this sort of mainstream game. You've got to get people having it. They've got to have the room in the house. You've got to have the sales. But it depends on like what you class as the esports game, what type of game it'll be. It could be. It's got the sort of taken away. So I think you'll end up still having your keyboard and mouse games. But potentially, you know, there's different ways you could go about it. You could end up having some of the games which like a boxing game, which is some sort of fighting one. It could be some sort of like tennis based game. I don't know. There's other things which you could end up playing with VR, which you can't at the moment play on mouse or keyboard. You can't play on controller. It'd be a new type of game. And then once you get that competitive scene of player versus player, I think you're gonna just similar to like the sort of any sort of competitive PvP stuff these days. They all sort of brand it as an esport and try and push it down that way. And if it gets the people adopting it, then it'll sort of move forward with that. I I don't know. I can see it being sort of. We've already seen like a couple of things like Echo Arena and things like that coming through. You can say like Beat Saber and stuff like that. There's leaderboards on who's got the highest thing. Like I wouldn't really
Highest
class
score.
that as
Yeah.
I wouldn't really class it as like a top like esports type game because it's just sort of high score. But if you see, I was talking to someone, developer, on about sort of a boxing game and having that sort of PvP aspect in there, which when you're going down that route, it gives a different, different style of game than what you'd get on a keyboard and mouse, and I think it'll attract a different style of player.
Mhm.
So it's good. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I think it's more likely that you'll see, like you got your belongs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely you'll see some sort of like VR arena type things where you could go down and play because I think it's going to be difficult. Even though if you get that price point right, it's going to be difficult for people to have the space to sort of set that up. And especially if you have some sort of like team-based aspect or PvP aspect, like how are you going to set up 2 VRs in your house? Okay, you can play on the online against other people, but if it's a case of doing that, it's going to be like together, sort of moving forward. I think you might end up sort of seeing like these VR sort of shops or things popping up, and then having that sort of esports style in there as well. I don't know. What's you guys do?
Does it need to exist? That'll be my main question. Like, if you've got esports already and it's clearly a working system, when
Yeah.
you start bringing in your VR, it's sort of just like, then go do whatever you like. For instance, the boxing and the tennis, I would say like that's a sport you can go play. What would be the reason for it being
Well,
a VR thing?
those are just examples I've given. So as they could think, but it wouldn't be boxing or tennis. It'd be a new genre of game, if you will. So like I can't imagine what game they'll come up with, but yeah, potentially it'd be something like
It's
that.
like a game of dodgeball or something like that. Like that's something. It's quite simple, but at the same time, it's. I think with when you have it over the internet and you're playing on your own and you're on your own in the room, that's fine. That's fair enough. But it's when you go into somewhere, you're going into an arena or you're going into like a room or something like that with 4 other people, for instance, that trying to not bounce into each other or I think that's going to be a bit of an issue. I mean, that's from my side.
I think you're going to have a bit more of like a augmented reality style in there as well. But one of the things which I was looking at with the HUC vibes, with you've got lighthouses around the room. They've designed the technology, which is some way the HUC is slightly better than the Oculus and things like that. But they've designed the technology which allows for multiple headsets to be picked up in like a zone.
Oh,
So
okay.
when you're saying that, you could potentially, you need a room and things to do it, but you could have multiple people in the same zone. Um, you can see other headsets, so you
Yeah,
could sort of work in the thing of you would be able to see your sort of opponent or um your your sort of teammate in the same zone, and then you'd be able to play against like other teams. So you they've built that technology in, so you could end up having like a 2v2 game of dodgeball against someone else playing 2v2 dodgeball.
It's certainly an interesting thing, and like Waffles mentioned earlier on, it's got a hell of a long way to come because VR is still this relatively new thing, and only we've seen it come to mainstream like gaming
Yeah.
in the past few years. So,
Like I think it's not just we're looking at it from that point of view as it being an esport. I think it's got the potential as well to be not just an esport but a spectator
spectator
sort of
sport.
tool.
Yeah.
No, well, a spectator tool. So
Oh,
you could
okay. I
end
got
up
what you mean. Yeah.
playing like let's say you've got your Counter Strike. Rather than just watching it on your monitor, you could potentially have the VR that you're sort of I don't know around the map.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be
Yeah, that'd be
Or
interesting.
fun.
with Rocket League, you could be there. You were sitting in the crowd, and you could potentially
Just like
have your
waving.
you could have your hands, and you could be waving, and as they're sort of driving the car around, you could
Mexican
see
wave.
like a crowd. Yeah, you could end up having that in there, and all your VR people are sort of based and sort of sitting around watching the game, which is a totally different way of watching esports. And yeah, we'll see how it goes, but yeah, it's I think next few years is going to be interesting to see um, where they take it really.
Yeah, okay, so moving on to the third question. This is coming from Ivor and Mike, one of our actual official streamers on the Esports Wales channel. He's asking, do you think the high standard of games these days, with the high standard of markets, these high standards of games these days, there is a market for side scrollers to make a comeback, e.g., Streets of Rage, Vector Man, etc., etc. I haven't really played many side scrollers. I played a little bit of Street Fighter years ago, but not really many major side scrollers. I did play actually Risk of Rain 1. That's technically a side scroller. That was quite interesting, but then with the Risk of Rain 2, they moved it over to 3D, so I don't really have much of an answer to this. I don't know whether anybody else does, John, maybe? Anybody,
Well,
really?
I enjoyed Streets of Rage. I enjoyed Abe's Odyssey. I think there's already games coming out with side scrollers. Like, I don't think it's going to be a case of you're going to see the AAA games making them. I think it's going to be, well, there already is like
Indie
indie
developers,
games
yeah.
pushing them out because those games are easier to sort of be pushed out. And yeah, for the AAA games, like they could make those, but I don't know. Yeah, in regards to that, I don't know sort of how they would sort of go about sort of doing that sort of different to an indie store. So you kind of would always be in a case of in you could be competing in that level with those other ones where indie guys doing that sort of stuff at the moment. And yeah, you look at Steam these days. Like I've viewed it before. I can't remember who was the director who said it. I think it was might have been Tarantino, but it might have been someone else. That the reason why like we've got way too many films, and the sort of having that many films kind of ruins the market or sort of muddies the market, and you end up only having like a few like top movies and that coming out, which is that sort of different movies. But I think it's getting to a point, sort of a bit like that with games. There's just so much coming out from. I think everyone's trying to get your attention, your things. And while it's great to see, it's also you lose that thing of everyone's jumping onto that game these days. You're losing the sort of thing of oh, I can't wait for like that sort of new Streets of Rage to come out because there's already 10 different versions of that type of game out in like the last month. So I don't know. It's going to be. I think there are sort of there's enough of those out sort of on Steam. I can't see any sort of massive one come out which would draw everyone's attention and sort of beat some of the sort of bigger AAA games coming out. How about you guys? What do you think?
I was going to say this. This could be a bit of a ramble, but I think one of the ways that they could, in terms of that market, as in side scrolling, if you really wanted to like try and bring it to the 25th or where like bring it to now with all of the technology we've got, it's like imagine you're sort of Super Paper Mario-esque. You go in the streets like you're side scrolling, and then you can change it. So then it would be inverted. So then it would be like you sort of Crash Bandicoot. You can go along. That would be something quite
That'd be
interesting.
good.
I think they've already. I can't remember the one it was, but there was a indie game similar to that which you would rotate round. And yeah, that's how you do it. So you would have the side scroll, but it was like playing side scroller as a cube. So you would get to one point, and then you would have to rotate the map to see this side of the level. Yeah, someone just stuck in chat Fez. I think it might have been Fez. And that's so like yeah, that was an indie game which kind of done something or tried to do something similar like that. Which I don't know, probably 5-6 years ago maybe. But yeah, there's loads of stuff like that out these days.
Okay, so moving on to the next question, I guess each person would answer this individually. If there was one game you wish was an esports game, what would it be? I'm going to throw this over to Chantico first.
I think the one game that I've always wanted to see competitively, and everyone might just be like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" Is I don't know if anyone remembers it. It was Splinter Cell.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Certainly interesting.
They did the multiplayer version where it was you had two different teams. Where one was the what was it? One was the police force kind of side, and then one was the splinter cells, and you had to hide, you had to collect data, and you had to hack computers and get through certain points. And I feel like that kind of like team based is kind of lost a little bit. Whereas like with CS:GO, it's like team versus team, kill, there you go, job done.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's like you got to drop the bombs and that. Don't know, no CS:GO here, but there's but that's all it is. It's like that person versus that person. Whereas on the other one, it's you can just sneak around and you can like not have to dive in. If you want to be that sneaky person who sits at the back and can never be found, then yeah. But
yeah,
that's one I've always wanted to see.
Okay, that's interesting. And a lot of chat seems to actually be agreeing with you there. My internet is really struggling tonight. Wow. Don't know why that is. Yeah, but Norris boy, what do you think? What is one game that you'd love to see as an esport game?
This is one that I think there could be a market for it if they brought out a new game. So, if anyone remembers SSX, like the snowboarding game, and then like SSX Tricky, if they could bring out a game like a new one and do like sort of what they do at the Winter Olympics when it is just going down, pulling off as many moves as possible, that could be something really interesting in an esports like setup. But then again, it's like I can't remember when they brought out the most recent title. So if they bring another one out, who knows?
Yeah, the most recent thing I'd say is I played it. I can't remember what it's called now.
What's Steep?
Yeah, Steep.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Steep. Yeah.
And that was the most like I picked it up. It didn't have the same like sort of thing as like SSS Tricky was a bit more like Tony Hawk, and I used to love Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Like Pro Skater, that was like, yep, but just jump on that and play that for hours, just skating around the map and things. And yeah, I think if they brought more of that to the sort of Steep, I think yeah, I would have loved if they could do that.
That'd be quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, John, do you
Yeah,
actually have anything except from?
I don't like from a esports game. I'm not really sure. I think there's so much now, which like the majority of the games I think, like I've said a couple of times, the majority of the games I play are sort of esports titles anyway. So like the other type of games, generally when it's sort of some casual stuff which I'll do, or some sort of PvE stuff. But yeah, I don't tend to play a lot of sort of single player games to want them to be pushed into an esport. And if I am playing them, it tends to be a break from an esports title. But yeah, how about you?
Yeah. So, well, it's something I used to play a long time ago with a couple of friends. It's actually called Speedrunners. You probably heard of it.
Yeah.
Like nice little indie game, 4 people just basically running around a map trying to be the fastest. But it's a side scroller, so it kind of feeds back to the previous question. But I'd love to have seen that as an esport because it's so competitive and there's so many different things. You get power ups. It's really interesting. It's really fun to play, and I really think it'd do good as a side scroller as an esports game. So. Yeah, I'd love to have seen that come out as an esports game, but I think that's kind of died off now. It used to be popular a few years ago, and a lot of people.
I picked it up. I played it for a bit.
Yeah, I sank so many hours into that when I first played it. So, yeah, it's a really good game. Yeah, on to the final question from Craze. This is not really aimed at me because I live nowhere near the area. But what's good to do in Cardiff? Because Craze is going to be there on Wednesday and Thursday morning, and he wants stuff to do. So, anyone got any suggestions for him? Chat included. Go on, suggest stuff for him.
Yeah, so you got to say, should I? Yeah. So you've got Blanc, you've got Arcade Vaults. So those are decent places to view. You've got some decent burgers. So Graze and Shed is decent if you like burgers. Kongs, they got. I think they still got Burger Theory. They might not have Burger Theory anymore, but if they did, that's a decent burger. You've got Gareth Bill's Bar, which is 11's. Does a decent meal as well, and it's good to sort of pop in if you like sort of sports bars. You've got Queen's Vault, which you love pool. You've got Kongs, which got retro machines and table tennis. If there's a few of you. Arcade Vault's got things. You've got Token Surf, which is slightly out of Cardiff with gaming sort of like esports players. Like sort of got some machines and stuff you can play. What else is there in Cardiff? Yeah, I guess you could look around the castle. You could look around the Millennium. Yeah, I'm not really sure what you're looking to do down your craze, and sort of what your interests are.
Go to any pub. There you go, sorted.
Yep.
I'd say
It's got a lot of pubs.
one good thing if you've got a bit of time to kill and you're with a group is something like an escape room. Escape rooms Cardiff is
definitely.
something I'd highly
Yeah.
recommend. That's a really good place to just spend an hour, have a bit of fun.
Anything from anyone else,
Like the
Chantico?
Red Dragon Centre.
I'm just anywhere there's alcohol. That's
right. We're not alcoholics. Just a disclaimer. We just like a bit of booze.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't.
little bit.
what's it called? Chance Encounter's got a board game bar. I've been there a couple of times. That's quite cool. Yeah, so I think it's like $5 an hour or something like that. But they've just got a massive selection of board games. So if there's a couple of you, you can just go there. You can chill out. There's food. There's drink. You can play whatever board games you want. If you don't know the board game, they'll come up and they'll explain it to you. And yeah, it's quite cool.
Yeah, so I think that's everything from us this week. Does anybody have any closing thoughts in regards to the chat show this week?
No. Oh, well, Mike just said go-karting. Go-karting is quite good in Cardiff. And also bouldering if you're up to climbing. You can do bouldering and you can do climbing, but got to change this.
Oh, I need to get back into that.
Yeah, it's quite good. Yeah, I just reiterate the sort of special fact. If you guys got time to sort of support our charity, it's a great cause, and yeah, we appreciate any sort of help you give us and any help you give them. And yeah, if you sort of want to chat to any of us, just drop us a message and we can sort of sort out or help where we can. And yeah, that's about it really for me.
Anything from either of you, Chantico or Norris?
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say it's been a good talk. Lots of good views and everything, and just see if we can get Norris's boys' internet sorted a little bit better for
It
next time.
seems to have come back to life now. In
It
fairness.
seems
Like,
to
I'm
be up
watching
and
it.
down. Yeah,
After
I don't
that
know.
little brain fart, it seems to have revived itself. So hopefully that'll be the case for the future. But
Yeah, well, either way, I think that's going to be it for this week. But don't forget, we do have merch on sale. We are doing a giveaway. If you do want to play for us, you do want to stream for us, all of the links are in chat, our social media links, all in chat. Moobot's just going to spam everything. So come and get involved. Come and join in. We're going to do. We're working basically 24/7 to make Esports Wales great, and I hope you all tune in next week. Hopefully about the same time, maybe 6 o'clock, maybe 7. We don't know. We haven't got a dead on time because people change, people's schedules change and whatnot. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to Norris Boy, to Chantico and John for all being here. And yeah, thanks once again. And we're going to hopefully host up a nice Welsh stream if you all to go and raid. So yeah, thank you all once again, and we'll see you all next time.
Brilliant.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Cool.
cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.